Terrence here with Rue Healthy Plants. Today we are doing more soil blocking, and I attribute 50% of my success in my front and backyard food forest to soil blocking. I started out just throwing seeds in pots, and then I graduated to cell block trays, and then I discovered soil blocking. The first soil blocker that I have is something that I saw at Walmart. I bought it. It said that it can block 4 soil blocks, and then you can twist this thing and then it can block 1 big soil block. So this thing just really was not well constructed, so I no longer use this soil blocker right here. So my next soil blocker is a 2-inch soil blocker. So right here is one that I have not used yet. You know, this has a few different parts, a few different components. It's a little bit different than other soil blockers that I've used. And this is a little bit bigger of a soil blocker. So this is called the Swift Blocker 75. I saw it online and it looked cool. So far we have 1, 2, 3, at least 4 components that you kind of need to make this soil block work practically. When this other soil blocker, I needed a soil block and just the tray. So we're kind of increasing the amount of steps by 2 with this new soil blocker. But this one only makes 8 soil blocks at a time. And although a fraction of the size, this makes 75 at a time. Fraction of the size, it's half the size of that one. So let's see how this performs, because this is the one I'm actually using today. And I'm using some soil from last year. I have a gazillion seeds right here. I have so many things that I need to get soil blocked as long as I have daylight on the weekend, and I'm gonna get as much done as I possibly can. So I have some soil here in a big black bag. A big black bag from last year. This is just pure good garden soil right now. All right, this is perfect. So this is looking good. You see perfect, really rich garden soil. Just gonna sift through it a little bit, break everything down so that when I put it through my smaller soil blocker, it doesn't have a problem. My typical soil block mix entails some perlite, some coconut coir. I got a mix of things that I like to use. Not saying you need them, not saying you gotta do it, but it's what I like to use. This is a very intuitive process for me. This is not like, you know, by the book, cut and dry. This is what somebody said to do. This is just what I do. So I'm gonna hit it with a nice amount more water, because this is definitely not wet enough. So you don't want this like a whole swamp and looking like a lake, but you definitely wanna add in a nice amount of moisture, and you wanna be able to squeeze out moisture. If you're not squeezing out moisture to make your soil blocks, you probably don't have it wet enough. And what happens if your soil blocks are not wet enough? If they're not wet enough, they're going to crumble apart, and that's part of the problem. If they're oversaturated, you can squeeze out more moisture. All right, so this is hydrated enough. If I can squeeze some moisture out of it like that, that's a decent place to start. I've never used this soil blocker before. This is a Swift Blocker Mini 75. 75 soil blocks at one time. Goodness. So knowing how to soil block, I know which pieces that I need first. I know how I'm going to do it. And this one with the holes in is the one you're going to want to use first. So you kind of want to get down there. All right. And some of them don't look all the way filled. I want to make sure all these holes are all the way filled. I want to pack it down in there. And I already know the mindset behind it, the thought process behind how I want these soil blocks to look and how this should be done. So far, this is how we're looking. I want to scrape off a lot of this excess right here. Looking on the bottom, we got plenty extra. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out one of these trays right here. Put this catty corner across here. Kind of mash that down there. Take off whatever little excess on the side. All right, and now we're gonna see how well this thing works, because this is really supposed to scrape off the excess over the top. Okay, so this doesn't really go lower into the soil block on the top. So anything that this is able to scrape off is supposed to actually come off. We have this part right here that's supposed to smash it down and then put a little divot into the soil block so that you have room for your seed. So let's put that in there, squeeze that, and just kind of, I'm gonna push this down on all fronts right here. Push it down in the middle, push it down on the sides, and I see water coming out along the edges on the sides right here. So you kind of have to like lift this top part up and like push it back, lift it up, push it back, and kind of shimmy it yourself. And I don't know what the company recommends. I didn't read the directions. I'm gonna let those bake for a day, dry out just a little bit until tomorrow, and then I'm gonna hit it with the seed. Because right now, if I hit it with the seed, and then I like to cover it up with seed starting mix. So my soil blocks get topped off with seed starting mix, not garden soil. You definitely want to have something that's light and airy that is able to easily poke through for your seedling and for germination. Let's do this again, and we're gonna see if we can kind of like speed up and streamline this process right here. So coming out with another batch, swipe off the sides a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna push that down. After in this new tray, push that down. Come across slightly. Now I'll take off that first batch right there, and then I'm gonna come across and fill any gaps that may have been released. So you're likely to have less gaps if your soil is a little bit more moist. You should push that back down in there and come across. Boom. So this is definitely worth the money for me. Now, as far as cleanup goes, you definitely need to rinse off and wash off your soil blocker, because soil blockers will rust. They definitely will rust. So wash them off. If you need to, oil them down. We want soil blockers to last for the rest of our lives and pass it down to our next generation to say, you know what? You ate for years from that soil blocker. That soil blocker fed you your whole life. So coming out with the next batch, let's swipe the side. If I feel any excess underneath, come off with it and pressing down. All right, get a little push, slight little push. Remember, third swipe, a third of the way. Boom, third of the way, swipe across. That's what I like to do. You don't have to do that. That's what I like to do. I just want to make sure he's backfilled real good. Got any excess, you can pull it off if you want to. Don't have to. I just like his backfill. Now we're gonna go the 2/3 of the way. 2/3 of the way. And now with that last 1/3, make sure everything else is fully backfilled. This is my just in case. You know, everything else is backfilled. This is my last ditch effort. We got a few pieces of wood right here, and that's what we don't want. We don't want that ending up in the soil block, because that's what throws off the soil block, like really solid, perfect formation of the soil blocks. So good to go. Last swipe. One more, just for good measure, just for being nice and clean. Clean swipe. Not a necessity swipe, just a clean swipe. And remember, double release. First one, double, you hear the first clank, lift, slight lift, clank. All right, lift that top piece up. All right, and then bring back down, and then just get a slight clank. You're only gonna hear a slight clank. Just like that. And we got another 75, good to go. And that's how I soil block. That's how I do it. And we're gonna make thousands and thousands of flowers, thousands and thousands of vegetables, and we're gonna expand and expand. If you like this video, please comment, please subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comment section. Root Healthy Plants, keep it growing. I'll see you on the next one.